chronic stress affect human brain? Are you feeling sleepless, feeling moody, forgetting little things, and isolated? Don't worry, we all been there. You probably just stressed out. Stress is not always a bad thing. But when it continues, it actually begin to change your brain. Stress can affect the prefrontal cortex in your brain.
The prefrontal cortex, PFC, is the cerebral cortex which covers the frontal part of the frontal lobe, the brain region that's been implicated in planning complex cognitive behaviors or personality expression, decision-making, and moderating social behavior. The basic activity of the brain region is considered to be an orchestration of thoughts and actions in accordance with internal goals. The most typical psychological term for functions carried out by the prefrontal cortex area is executive function. Executive function relates to the abilities to differentiate among conflicting thoughts, determine good and bad, better and best, same and different, future consequences of current activities, working toward a defined goal, prediction of outcomes, expectations based on actions, and social control. That is, the ability to suppress urges that, if not suppressed, could lead to socially unacceptable outcomes. The frontal cortex supports concrete rule learning, while more anterior regions along the rostral caudal axis of the frontal cortex support rule learning at a higher level of abstraction.
Chronic stress, like overworked, or having arguments at home, or feeling stress from life, can affect brain size, structure, and how it functions. There are numerous studies proved that. 2 recent studies were chosen to prove that mice are usually used in the studies of a human physiology and diseases because of the genetic similarities with a human. First study is done by Grandjean et 2016. 56 rats was studied, divided into 2 groups. Group 1, 29 was placed singly in cage separated by a transparent divider for 15 days. Group 2, 27 control remaining pairs in standard condition. Stressed rats exhibited cortical network-specific increases in frontal cortex in visual and somatosensory. Therefore, both chronic physical stress in rat increased frontal cortex. Another study was done by Farga 2016. It studied the long-term stress exposure can affect the number of neurons in the orbita fronta. 300 rats were studied, divided into 2 groups. 200 rats submitted to chronic stress by food and water deprivation for 7 weeks. The second group, 80 rats, remain unchanged control. They found a pronounced reduction of cal-binding positive neuron densities in the orbitofrontal cortex, and data suggests that may relate to the stress resilience of the animals. Both studies show that chronic stress affects the human brain badly, especially the important part of brain which is the prefrontal cortex, by raise the inositol level and reduce the interneurons' S densities. These changing will affect badly in the mental and physiological functions of the brain. Chronic stress leads to depression-relevant behavior, including increased fear learning, learned helplessness, fatigue, and decreased motivation for reward. People can avoid stress by management, which is all about control of your lifestyle, thoughts, emotions, and the way you deals with the problems. No matter what is the level of stressful your life is, there are steps you can do to relieve the pressure. 1. Identify the source of the stress in your life. 2. Replace unhealthy coping strategies with healthy ones. 3. Do exercise for stress management. 4. Make time for fun and relaxation.